Perfect, let's go. Bravo Airfield, this is Heli Oscar Golf, Bravo Airfield, departure direction, Visp. Okay. You can see that, you feel it that we're heavy?
Not really.
Not really, yeah, it's hard to say, but normally, because we're full on fuel as well, that's why. I have enough fuel for the second flight as well.
Okay.
Well, the third flight for me, but the second flight of this. So that's why I couldn't load you in there, because I wouldn't have enough power to just go straight up. We had to do a little bit of a run.
Why?
I'll explain to you in a bit. Let's just do departure.
But with the 400 francs, is this rent, mechanics, fuel?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's charged by minute, so it's 7 francs 40 per minute. So now let me just the right trim we have out.
So what are we doing?
Whatever you like. I mean, we can go to Goms if you like. We can go to Zermatt. Whatever you think is.
Yeah, I mean, Zermatterhorn is the must.
It's the must. Okay, let's do that first. We still have time to decide on the way back. Are you okay with the temperature?
Fine.
Yeah. You can even open this a tiny bit more if you feel. Yeah, but I think this is nice. Heli Oscar Golf approaching Visp at 3,000 feet, proceeding direction Stalden.
Okay.
1 second. I thought somebody else was on frequency, but they stopped.
You have to tell everything.
I don't. You can do whatever you want, but it's good practice to tell other people where you are and what you're up to.
And you like your voice.
Not really. I like to be heard and seen, because this way, this is a big part of what is normally the danger is already gone, right? Because you're not risking any miscommunication with anybody.
And the altitude is
3,000 feet.
Engine taking off here, Zermatt direction east.
Okay. So now the Llama that you saw, the heli that was just next to us at the basis,
yes,
he's taking off now and he's going into direction east. So he will go down the valley.
okay.
Well, actually he said east, but he told me earlier he'll go west. He will go down to the next Gampel.
Okay.
But you can still depart like that and then orbit out.
But 3,000 feet is divided by 3 more or less.
Exactly, like 1,000 feet is 300 meters.
Okay, that's from sea level.
Yeah.
Okay, that means you are some kind of 400 meters.
3,500 feet right now.
Yeah, and Visp is 600.
No, so we're like 1,000 meters, right?
Like the height.
Yeah. Above sea level, yeah, of course. Yeah. But if Visp is 640, we're like 500 meters above it now.
I must say I was a little bit curious and nervous.
Nervous?
Yeah.
Now not anymore?
Now you see it
You see how it works in it.
15 years or 6 years ago when I was the last time, and it was in an airplane.
Yeah. Helicopter, you see more, right?
Yes.
I think it's quite a bit different from. So yeah, the reason. So for a helicopter, it takes less power to fly forward than it does to hover. And the reason for that is if you fly forward, the forward speed you have is additional speed over your wings, over your rotors, which actually gives you more lift, right?
Okay.
Whereas if you're stationary, the whole lift needs to be created by just the rotor turning, right? There is nothing helping you. Whereas now we're flying forward with 60 knots, that's like 105 kilometers an hour. We actually, we need less power than we needed. You saw before when we were hovering, we were almost in the red, right? Whereas now we fly forward and we still climb at 500 feet per minute.
Okay, so this is the speed and this is the...
This is airspeed, this is vertical speed indicator, it's called.
Okay, because I saw the same in the airplane.
It has exactly the same instruments. Probably not this one, because it doesn't have rotor RPM, but it has also motor RPM, and it has, the other gauges are just cylinder head temperature and oil temperature, and then oil pressure.
Okay. And this is for your logbook, the time.
Yes, I logged down the time as well, but this is nice for me to now to see how long have we been up, how much fuel do we still have, because you see the fuel here in both tanks.
Yes.
Let me just do a quick call. Oscar Golf 4,500 feet, started proceeding direction, Zermatt. You see that we have two fuel tanks, one with 20 gallons and one with 10 gallons. And so we have 30 gallons in total, which if we're completely full on fuel, we can go for 2 hours 45, right?
With just 30 gallons.
With 30 gallons, yes, exactly. Which means, so I'm now full on fuel.
You just hold off the field at 1000 meters, direction like.
Okay, see now he's in direction like. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to have full fuel is because I do an hour and 10 maybe with you, and then another hour and 10 with the other guy, and I want to always have at least half an hour reserve in the end. So you almost have to go full to do it, which puts you super close to your maximum takeoff weight. And that's when when you're hovering and you're really at the limit. So you can't. And the other thing why you're saying, oh, but you were hovering there with me at the airfield, at the airstrip, and not at. Why couldn't we just hover at the base? The problem is there you have a thing called the ground effect. So when you're hovering over the ground, you have like an additional column of air that is pressurized underneath you that gives you a bit more performance. So as soon as you try to hover like a meter or 2 meters in the air, you need 1 to 2 inches of manifold more, which means I could have hovered there with you, but we would not have made it over the fence, right? Because we would have had to take some forward speed first. We would have had to take some forward speed first, and that's a bit tricky if the fence comes. So it would have been possible, but yeah, why risk it?
So 2,000 feet descent, outbound direction, started.
Heli Oscar Golf Sunk, Niklaus 5,000 feet, just switch to this frequency, proceeding direction, Zermatt.
But you understand them?
Yeah, most of the times you do. And you always look out as well. So most of the time is spent enjoying the view and checking out. You're not flying into any cables or other people.
I will send you the picture.
You can Facebook live stream the flight if you want. When we're near the Matterhorn, you can go live.
Ah, it's okay.
So now we're at almost 6,000. We have 14 degrees. So 21 we can pull. So this table kind of tells you at what altitude, with what temperature, how much manifold pressure you're able to pull, because you shouldn't pull more than indicated. At some point also your RPM would go down because you're pulling more. You know, you're trying to adjust, you know, to get more angle on the blades, and then your rotor or your engine simply cannot spin it fast enough with the amount of drag you have, and that's when you lose RPM and when you have to lower the lever again.
But this must depend a little bit on the location you are.
No, because 6,000 feet is 6,000 feet, but this is pressure altitude, which means it's the altitude that the air has. You know, it's basically calibrated to what the air feels like. So the helicopter doesn't care about actual true altitude or true height. He cares much more about perceived height, which means in the winter you can fly higher, right? Because the air is denser. So for the helicopter, being at 3,000 feet in the winter feels like being lower, right? Because the air is denser. But if it's super hot, you know, if it's like 30 degrees or it's like a super hot summer's day, the helicopter will feel like, you know, he's much higher because the air is as thin as it normally would be higher up.
Okay, that means when I will do heli skiing with you, it's better in the winter because we can go high.
Yeah, with this helicopter we couldn't even go that high, but with the lava it has so much power that you can do heli skiing all year. It's more the snow that's the problem. But
This is some kind of a log.
sorry?
This is some kind of a log from with the GPS position.
Exactly, yeah. This is one of the apps you can use to help navigate. Yeah, it doesn't really, I mean, you're just holding it, just don't let it go.
So, but when we are in the helicopter now, these are the pedals for
Yeah, so you see if I go left,
Yeah.
if I go right.
Yankees around 9,800 feet in descent, left of the valley outcome, right of the valley outcome.
Helicopter Oscar Golf approaching Hennebrink at 6,700 feet, looking for traffic, proceeding direction Zermatt, staying to the right of the valley.
From right of the valley, so to Foxtrot.
Why you have change between...
Sven, forgot Lego, het is vermeerdelijk eine overal.
Yankee, I have you in 5 below me.
Perfect, I keep looking. Heli Oscar Golf.
Shot you up this.
Ja, sorry.
Fabi, ja, saluti.
Gut, wo bist du?
Jetzt geht rechts von dir, jetzt crossen wir, ist gerade im Rechtwinkel, aber völlig höher.
Ah, ich sehe den, ja, okay. Ich sehe dich gut.
Can we only leave overhead living direction?
Aber das war der Fabi, mit dem gar nicht, mit dem Oruf. We go to Aosta with the airplane.
this is an airplane.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was a little bit too fast.
It's faster than we are, yeah. Helicopters are usually, they need more performance because they spin this way, right? The airplanes are more designed to fly. A helicopter is kind of a magical thing that doesn't want to fly.
It flies.
It kind of flies, but you know, yeah. So, yeah, are you free tomorrow at all?
I'm free everywhere because I can decide when I will go to work.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we go to Aosta and you want to join us for lunch there. You can fly twice in 2 days over the Matterhorn. I'll see. I'm not sure if we still have space, but if we have one more person who can join.
Ask one.
So, Weisshorn, so yeah.
2 questions. The first one is, the pedal is okay. You explained it to me in London.
Yeah.
This is the throttle.
This is the throttle, but the other one is called the collective.
And the throttle is like turning in this way?
Yeah, but this is automatically managed, so I don't need to twist it. The governor, which is the switch you turn on here, manages that for you. So it always keeps it in the green. So the engine is the E and the R is the rotor RPMs, and both of these RPMs are kept at the level, in the green, at 105%.
But this is for the speed.
This is for, if I go up on this, you see how the manifold pressure goes up a bit as well?
Yep.
And this is basically the angle of the blades, which in turn also triggers how much the engine has to work. Because if we increase the angle, the drag increases, and the governor needs to open the throttle more to still keep it at the same 100% RPM, right?
Yes.
But I cannot do this infinitely, because if I go more than a certain amount, my engine will be full throttle open, and the engine will not be able to perform more to overcome the drag, because the drag will become too big, and then my RPM will go down. That's when I would have to lower the lever immediately, otherwise I'll have a problem, right? Because my rotors are slowing down. That's not a good position to be in.
But there is a securization behind.
Yeah,
or
there's
you can do whatever you want.
No, there is an RPM horn, and that's pretty much the main thing to watch, right? If you lose track of your RPM, that's not what you want. Let me just do a radio call. Charlie Oscar Golf direction, approaching Zermatt from the north, visual with the helicopter that just departed 6,600 feet, proceeding direction Unterrothorn, Oscar Golf. So, yeah, we can go Unterrothorn, and then we saw the other helicopters. There was one from Air Zermatt that just... Let me see what they said. So we can go a bit higher. I just need to check again. 8,000 feet, 11 degrees, but 20.7. Pull the maximum.
Okay. The other question, why do you have to change between base station Raro and base station Zermatt?
This is not Zermatt, this is the mountain frequency.
Oh, okay.
So this is the same frequency that all the helicopters here use, all the airplanes use, even in Berner Oberland, but there you're so far away you don't receive the signal, so you can use the same frequency all in the mountain area. Heli Oscar Golf 8,000 feet, approaching Unterrothorn, Unterstation from the north. Heli Oscar Golf.
Unterrothorn, Heli Limaniki, zip sector south, proceeding direction Zermatt.
Can you see the basis of Air Zermatt here? So you follow the road, and then just before all the houses start, you see a little, like a parking lot almost.
Yeah.
That's where Air Zermatt basis is.
But Raro is bigger.
Yes, it's also not in the middle of like a freaking little mountain, right? So now, you know that I told you there's 40 official mountain landing spots in Switzerland. So now, there's 5 of them in this region. One is up there where you see the station. That's Unterrothorn.
Okay.
And I landed there quite a few times with the Llama already. You see another airplane now over there, or something flying in the air, whatever that is.
A bird.
No, it's another airplane. Heli Oscar Golf, Unterrothorn, 8,700 feet, proceeding direction. Gornergrad, visual with the traffic above me.
Thank you, Limaniki.
So now I told him that I can see him. I know that he's above me, so I now make sure I don't fly into him, but I wouldn't be able to go this high.
This is already too high.
We can go a bit higher. You will see. We'll go a bit higher, but we're at 9,000 feet. We can probably go up to 10, 11,000. But you can already see now, it's a trade-off now between choosing whether we want to fly forward faster or upward, right? Because the vector, right? You have to decide where your energy goes.
And this is what?
That's a compass. And it's a compass deviation, which would tell you how much your compass is wrong. So you can account for it. Because you know there's a true north and there's a magnetic north.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. You see down there a come off? With the nice two spinning blades, two main rotor blades.
At the base station there was the Lama and the Necroy.
In Roro, yes.
Okay.
The Lama, you know which one that is, right? The one with the bigger one with the gitter in the back. The Acura is almost as big. It's not about the size. They're both pretty large.
Okay, there was the helicopter who took some kind of material.
That's an Acura, yeah.
Oh, that was Necroy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's pretty much the same size as it's actually, if anything, larger than the Lama because you can fit 4 people in the back. In the Lama, you can only fit 3.
Okay.
Heli Oscar Golf approaching Gornergrad from the north, 9,400 feet, then proceeding direction Hörnhütte.
Station Lima Yankee is approaching sector east 10,000 direction Anivier.
So the other helicopter is now proceeding direction Val d'Anivier. Now we go over to the Matterhorn from close, okay?
Papa Bravo, top of flight source direction Sinaloa.
So now, you see this whole mountain range thing there? That's Monte Rosa.
Okay.
And the very top on the left thing, the peak, is Dufourspitze.
So you have to learn this.
No, but I landed up at Monte Rosa, 4,000 meters, with the Lama again. So you know where, you see where there's like, if you go, you see the 2 peaks, the left one and the right one.
Yes.
And if you take the right one and you kind of go down like 400 or 500 meters, where there's like you see a lot of white exposed snow spots.
Yep.
That's where you land, in the middle of nothing, right? Yeah, that's where you kind of wouldn't want to go out and walk around too much because, yeah, it can go down really, really quick, and there can be crevasses and all sorts of. All right. So now. So we're almost at 10,000 feet now, which is 3,000 meters.
So there's still more than 1,400 meters to the top of Matterhorn.
Yeah, the Matterhorn would be, yeah. We couldn't reach the top of Matterhorn with the 2 of us and this amount of fuel. I could probably reach it all alone with not an incredible amount of fuel. So if I take just fuel for 1 hour and I go from Braro, then I could do it, right? Because I'm like, you know, a lot. Because the helicopter is 400 kilos empty, and the maximum takeoff weight is 622. So in these 220, you have to have the fuel, you have to have both passengers, right? And you can see how even just a light person of 60 or 70 kilos already makes quite a big difference to the overall weight of the helicopter and everything, right?
Yeah.
Heli Oscar Golf approaching, Trockener Steg, 10,000 feet, proceeding direction Hörnhütte.
This is really different when you have it in the winter.
Yes. Yeah, we have to do the same again in the winter when everything is white. It's nice as well. So the other landing spot, mountain landing spot, is, you see Klein Matterhorn there?
Yes.
Just to the right of it, when you go down, you see this other little station where you see the slopes, right?
Yeah.
That's Theodul Gletscher, Testa Gricia. And just behind it is already Italy. So everything you see behind the wall there, so to speak, is already Italy.
But you can go to Italy, or is this a problem with the Swiss license?
If you could kind of go over a bit, you would, if you enter any airspace in there, you would have to start telling them, right? But tomorrow when we go to Aosta, we just have to talk to, we have to do the douane, the customs at Raro, because it's one of the places you could do the customs.
You have to do the customs?
Yes. And then you, when you go over the border, and then once you've done that in Raro, you can proceed and land in Aosta. And there it's just the same as Raro, it's just an airfield, you tune into frequency, you go land there. Maybe if there's a tower, you talk to them, and you call up first to say that you're coming, so they expect you. But there's not much you need to do.
But you have to change the frequency?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Once you leave this mountain frequency, you look it up on the chart, you can actually already see it here. I'll show you on the way back.
No problem.
Let's enjoy the Matterhorn now.
Lovely. What was this?
This is just ventilation.
Approaching Solveig, stop landing on top of Matterhorn.
Oscar Golf, Hörnlihytte 10,400 feet, orbiting here, and then going back to direction Gornagrad, Oscar Golf, 10,400 feet.
Pitch bar fronting.
Merci Thierry. You can see? Up there?
Oh, okay.
Helicopter. The guy who goes up to Dome? The helicopter who goes up to Matterhorn, you see it here? Yeah.
So, but this is a commercial flight from Zermatt.
Yeah. So I'll turn around, you can take another picture of him, because it's quite nice. And then there's another airplane to the right as well. See up here?
So where are you with the commercial license?
I'm still doing the theory. So now this is the nice shot here, we're super close now. Now look at how majestic maybe you see some guys climbing up.
This is huge.
Yeah. I'll do another orbit. To the right. So the other guy in Heli Papa Bravo, that's an Ecureuil. That was Tommy. And he...
Heli Papa Bravo reaching top of Matterhorn.
No, it's Ulis actually.
This is one of your instructors?
Yes.
And
Ulis is the one we would probably take to go land on Alphuppel or... So Alphuppel you see as well. All the way straight.
Yeah, you have the glacier.
All the way straight you see a little Kuppe.
Yeah.
A little white thing, and that's Alphuppel. So I just turned around once more so you have another close shot or a selfie opportunity for the Matterhorn or what. Yeah, it's tricky from this angle, but
don't worry.
You can, yeah, this is a nice shot. You can go.
Leaving Matterhorn area direction, climb Matterhorn, Papa Bravo.
Yeah, and now we can go along with the helicopter above. He now goes to Klein Matterhorn, which is over there, right? The one you see with the cross on top of the station.
Yeah.
And we are a bit lower. So that's the difference, right? With the Ecura you can go woo, it's right up. With the Llama as well, you can do top of Matterhorn. And with this one, you don't get much higher than this. But in terms of the view, you see pretty much the same, right? And it takes longer because you're slower, so you can enjoy it more before your money is all burnt through.
And I mean the picture from the Matterhorn from the top is not as much as nice.
Yeah, it's at least not the one everybody knows, right?
Yeah.
So if you show that to someone, people go like, what?
Yeah, I was once in Xavier and my teacher told me that I would know this mountain. And I was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No way.
Helios Golf Propeller Sting, 10,500 feet, proceeding direction under road hold, looking for the traffic at Destination. Helios Golf. So Testa Gricia is the other one. That's where a guy now is going to land.
He's going to land?
Yes. At least that's what he said. Well, he said he's approaching it from the sector Whiskey, so from the west. Which, yeah, I'm not sure if he's that. So this is another spot. So there's Testa Gricia, Monte Rosa, Unterrothorn. Then there's Alphobel in the back where you see the white thing, and then there's Aschihorn to the left. And these are the 5 mountain landing spots in this area, out of the 40 in Switzerland in total.
So you have to do 200.
Yeah,
and you have made
130. So yeah.
And this is a must for the commercial.
No, it's not. And I will probably reach the mountain rating before I reach the commercial. Even though there's a lot of commercial guys who don't even have the mountain rating. So it's... So, you know, the mountain rating is actually a really, really challenging, good thing to do. And it helps you also find your way around this area, right? Because if I know all these places and I actually go land there, I do approaches, I need to know where all the power lines are, then doing this is comparatively easy, right? Because you're just, you know, you're not risking any, you're not going low, you're not going for any landings or for any approaches. So it's not like anything, you're getting close to a dangerous part.
Yeah,
the other thing is not dangerous either, but you just got to know, you know, you got to prepare the approach and know how to land, especially when there's windy and you go for landing at one of these places. You just got to be careful what direction do you approach it from, all that stuff.
But you have to check every day the weather, the wind.
Yeah, and it's something you cannot know sometimes until the time you go there. So you do a reco. You see the guy down there, he does transport again, the come off.
Yeah.
Just near the lake now. He has a big pylon or something on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. See, that's the come off now with 2 main rotor blades.
This is also Air Zermatt.
No, this is not Air Zermatt. This is Heli Swiss, I think. Air Zermatt doesn't have a come off. And you see two Gleitschirmer down there as well.
Oh,
yeah. So these are the things that you gotta, you know, have a look out for, right? Cables and Gleitschirm and other helicopters, and that's when you go do landings, you always announce the landing on the radio as well, right? So you would say, you know, Heli Oscar Golf approaching Unterrothorn from sector northwest or whatever, inbound for landing.
And you have to wait for confirmation?
No, because you're just cold, you're just blind calling, right? You're just telling everybody, and if someone is listening, someone's listening, but there's no tower.
Okay.
It's just self-coordination between the other pilots.
So the paraglider don't have communication?
They don't, no.
Okay. So it's your job to be careful?
Well, it's their and our job, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they don't go higher.
They can go fairly high. They can go this high, yeah,
but
at least.
Like
but yeah, they're colorful, and you kind of know with time where they usually are, so you can take that into account. Yeah, but you're right. It's one of the things, right? That you know you have to look out for.
So what was more difficult, to fly here or in London with all the other airplanes and helicopters?
It's a different challenge, right? There you have more to do in terms of the radio communications and, you know, maybe different amount of traffic sometimes. Here it's just, you know, the performance, right? And the topology of everything, right? So yeah, you can fly into a hill, right? There, you can't fly into a hill. Here, if you need to auto-rotate, this is nice, you have fields, but you don't have that everywhere, right? In London, everything looks like the thing that, or in there, you know, in the north of London, as I showed you, where the Arsenal training ground is.
Yeah.
Everything is green there. There's like a million different places where you can auto-rotate to if you want, if you have an engine failure, right?
Okay.
Here, it's not always so obvious, right? Because a lot of it is hills, and yeah.
But in London you had the same frequency than Heathrow or the other airports?
If you're going through their airspace, yes. Let me just do another call. Helicopter Golf approaching Helsinki from the south, 9,000 feet, leaving direction Stockholm. So the other thing is, that's also one thing that is challenging in San Francisco, because there you have a lot of airspace as well. So flying wise, it's easier there because you have, you know, more open space, and you're either over the city, but there's a lot of sea, right? So you fly over the sea, and you know you're wearing your swim vest. So you have to, if you're over an extended period over the sea, over the open waters, you always have to wear it.
Just in case.
Yeah, worst case you come out, you Cabana Margarita, yeah. Another cottage.
But you have to press something when you...
Yeah, here. With my...
that's for the outgoing communication.
Yeah, otherwise they don't hear what you're saying now.
That's probably better.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's great. I told yesterday Medar, my ex-boss, that I'm not at the university today because I go flying.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, how do you pay for 20 minutes? To say, I paid 200 for 1 hour.
Yeah.
And he was jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think now that I'm private, I can kind of do this because I'm paying my own part, right? But even later on, right, once I'm commercial, even this helicopter, you know, the passenger would have to pay the full helicopter, right? I mean, it's one thing to not charge to fly, right? So the pilot flies for free, but you know, that he also pays half of the cost, right? You can't always have. That's why you cannot fly any cheaper with Airstream or others, obviously, right? Because they need to make a profit somehow.
Of course.
So when you have a friend that is a private pilot, that's usually a nice... Even with airplanes, it's similar, right?
I mean, even though you have the commercial license, you're a private pilot for me.
Yeah, you're private. The personal driver and pilot to get you everywhere.
But when you've done the commercial license, you could probably take me out for a heli skiing trip.
I could do that in theory before that. I just can take the instructor with me and I can drop you off somewhere. The problem with that is it's nicer to come and have like a fondue up there and then fly back down again, because otherwise you still have to pay the flight down, right?
Really?
I mean, someone has to pay for it, right? Because I don't really want to go up there full and then fly down empty and then I pay the 10 minutes for the full helicopter going down again, right?
Not my problem.
Well, it kind of is because I wouldn't do it otherwise, right? So that's the problem, right? So if you take an hour for the Llama, which is like 1800, you know, you don't need actually, an hour with the Llama is plenty to go from Raro, do a few landings on Alphubel or Aschehorn, even go top of Matterhorn and then go back landing and even stop for an hour on Alphubel and have a fondue, right? That you can do for, you know, 1800, right, for an hour in the Lama, and that will cost like 450 per person, right? It's still okay, right? Because with Air Zermatt, normally you couldn't even do that because they would drop you off at Theodul Gletscher for heli skiing, or Alphubel or somewhere, or Utterrothorn to go to the restaurant, and then they will go down and fly the next one, right? So they don't want to wait there for an hour on the glacier with the pilot. Whereas if it's like an instructional flight, and Ulis is my friend as well, and we, for us, it's fine, right? He doesn't mind doing this.
But you have already made this from this stop trip.
Yes, I did it. I think once or twice. I did it with my friends from Bournemouth. They were here, like Mathieu and Min, my Chinese and my French friend, and so they were quite happy with the experience.
But this was a flight with the Lama.
This was with the Lama, so it was Ulis and me in the front, and then it was the two of them and another friend of mine in the back, and so yeah.
But when you go with Ulis, for example, with the Lama, he has also the pedals, everything.
He has everything, yeah, but he doesn't really do anything the whole time, right? He never grabs it. It's basically just me flying the whole time and him giving tips or saying, okay, try and approach from this side, or let's practice something, or just trying to prepare you and basically give you as much knowledge and of his experience of him doing that every day, right? Okay, of what to look for as possible. But I mean, it's you flying all the time. Even when you do your license, you're always in the controls. Even from the very first few hours. Until the point where you can hover and that stuff. After a few hours, it's 90% of the times in the first 5 hours, it's probably 80% of the times that you're on the controls, and after that it's pretty much 99. Unless the instructor shows something that you then kind of copy, it's pretty much always you flying. So because
But when you have started, it was the instructor that shows you the hovering stuff. And
exactly. The hovering is one of the hardest, and that's why it takes. If you're good, it takes you like 5 hours. If it takes a bit longer, it's like 7, 8 hours. Some people, they can't hover properly after 15 hours. It's not easy, right? So it's a thing that doesn't mean you're a bad pilot. It just means that some things are easier for you than others, right? And everybody struggles with one thing more than the other. So you see, this is now Gregen. I will change back to the other frequency. Oscar Golf approaching Stalden from the south at 8,000 feet, proceeding direction Gebidem. So I would suggest, you can see the Adage Gletscher from here.
Yeah.
You can see it. I suggest we go to Gebidem, that you see, the Gebidem Most, the Most in front of us.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of start orbiting down and go back for a landing. We're like at 54 minutes now, but we can make like an hour and 5 or so.
Okay.
So this way, we will be well on schedule. You can feel that here normally you start feeling a tiny bit of tiny bumps, like little thermals. And this is phone, by the way, right?
Oh.
And take a few nice pictures for me and send them to me. Phone with the Ottmar Hitzfeld phone arena. You see it there?
I was there.
Were you refereeing there?
Yeah, the ladies.
The ladies? Oh, nice.
Do you have now 3 cabins?
3 what?
Cabins. Changing rooms, dress rooms.
I'm not. We probably do. Although I know when we play, I think the referee is still with us most of the times, from what I remember.
Yeah, I was with your lady team. It was fun.
Yeah. You told me, right? You had to wait for everybody to.
No, I could go before them, and I was like, I have time.
Yeah.
They have probably waited 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then they told me, you have longer than us.
You took it slow.
Yeah.
It's quite flat.
Yeah.
Bonn is very nice in that sense. It's very unique. If you look at other Bergdörfer, most of them are much more densely populated, and they're usually quite in a hilly terrain. This is like quite flat and very widespread and open. I think it's, yeah, you don't see, if you look at all the other places, you don't find a lot of them that are like that.
No, it's like a plateau.
Yeah, exactly. So now, this is always a nice picture because you see the Widem and then you see the Aletsch in the back. We will fly straight over the mast or just slightly to the right of it. So it will look really nice when you have the mast just 200 meters in front of you and the Aletsch Gletscher in the back. And also Gewidem, you will see it here.
But that means this must be Darbina.
Yeah, this is Darbina down there. You might see the football pitch as well.
Ah, yeah, on the left. Should be there on the left, normally.
Ah, yeah, you see it now, right? It just showed. Helicopter goes Gewidem at 8,000 feet, proceeding direction 3 for orbit and then descending down to landing at Zermatt. Yeah, this will be a nice shot. Yeah, the Widemsee is so beautiful. It must be a good hike to come up here. Okay.
So I assume your father is quite enough passenger.
Yeah, he's a frequent flyer. Yeah, but yeah, probably like 3, 4, 5 times in total. So he obviously was with the Lama. He comes with this one.
He's a little bit jealous, I assume, that he hasn't done the pilot license.
He probably is, but I think if you're the dad, you're probably more proud than jealous.
Of course.
Or you're more happy that you actually get to go and share it and enjoy it, right? I think it's, yeah, because...
But you told me that he would also do it when he was younger.
Yeah. He had the theory for the airplanes, but he wanted to switch to helicopters. He was only doing airplanes to go to helicopters afterwards.
Okay.
So...
that's the same theory. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So back in the day, a lot of people were starting with that because it's always still cheaper, right, to do airplanes.
Really?
And yeah, it's a lot cheaper to fly airplanes than helicopters. So, like an hour, the airplane we saw with Bobby in it, that we might take tomorrow, it's like 300 or so for an hour, but it's for 4 people. Right?
Okay.
So, and you get much further because it flies faster, right? So, it's a whole different price range than this, right? And if I want to take the 4-seater helicopter, like this, but in 4 seats, like an R44, it's cost me like $1,000 an hour, right? In Sion. And in America, it's cheaper. It's like $600 an hour, and that's the one I usually fly in San Francisco.
Okay.
But so this is Lieshorn, by the way. Lieshorn, Ganterbricka.
When you go to San Francisco with your license, you can go and you rent a helicopter from an agency and...
Yeah, I still need to take another guy with me for the first few hours, most of the times, because they don't just trust you with the helicopter, they want to instruct you and make sure you know the airspace.
Yeah.
The same is true here, right? If someone comes and wants to rent a helicopter somewhere, they want to show you a bit the area and what it's all about. Otherwise, you're just risking the person get lost or doesn't know what frequencies to talk on and all that stuff, right? So
but in the end, when you do some hours of flight to San Francisco, you can go on your own.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I did like now 4 hours last time I was there on the 44, and the guy was like, yeah, this is great. I mean, I was doing everything myself in the end, even all the communications and all the radios with like 5 different frequencies at the same, not at the same time, but one after another, and that was working fine. So he said, yeah, next time you can do this once or twice more, and then you do a check right with their chief instructor, and then they will be saying, okay, they will treat me then like one of their former students, like someone they know, and say, yeah, you can rent it from us, right?
That's nice.
Yeah, but yeah, know, it's like a $500,000-$600,000 helicopter, right? The 44. So it makes sense to not just give it to anybody without instruction. And I wouldn't want to do it anyway, even if they would have. You know, I want to get confident there and comfortable in that airspace before I go alone, right? Because in the end, it's not just me. I take 3 people with me, right? I don't want to be up there and go like, oh shit, what do I do? It's not a nice feeling to have, believe me.
Before you're told on the frequency that you're orbiting.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
That just means like going like this.
Oh, okay.
Helicopter goal overhead 5,000 feet, inbound for landing at Zermatt. Correct, inbound for landing at Rado Airfield, runway 20.
Oh, we can go land in Zermatt if you want. But it's quite different when you're above a location where you went 2,000 times.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Everything looks different from the air. These clouds are coming down a bit as well. It's interesting. So I'll probably reach them almost in the next flight.
Do you have turbulences?
No. Like you felt today, right? There was nothing, right? There wasn't
but
even...
when you go to the clouds,
I
mean when you're in an airplane?
With these ones you wouldn't necessarily that much. Maybe a tiny bit. But the problem is more the visibility, right? You don't want to end up in the middle of it and not know where in and out is. Because at that point you would have to kind of get out of it by only looking at your instruments. And the problem is everywhere around you is mountains, right? So just making it out of the clouds doesn't help you if you're flying straight into the forest. That's why, yeah, you don't want to fly anywhere into clouds ever. Like, never, never, never.
Makes sense.
I really love this. You like this?
A little bit.
Now we're like 85 knots, right? That's 170 kilometers. So we're still we're faster than the cars. In the 50 zone, obviously, but even faster than the Autobahn.
So that means when we have a car beside us, we are really faster? Or is this some kind of different because it's airspeed and...
Yeah, airspeed is kind of a bit different, so it would be higher if we had like a 20 knot headwind towards us, and we would have a ground speed of 60 knots, we would still have indicated 80 knots, right? We would only make 60 towards the ground, but now that we have no wind, right, it's almost the same as ground speed, right?
Because I was in Thailand with Emirates, with a 777-300.
Yeah.
And there you have the board computer information on your TV screen, and there was always some kind of information of airspeed.
Airspeed and ground speed is quite different, yeah.
And there was also information about tailwind. This was something I didn't understand.
Yeah. Tailwind just means whether the wind is in your back or it's coming from the front. You always want to land into wind, so with the wind coming towards you, right? And for the same reasons we told earlier, right? Because it helps with the lift, right? Everything that already comes towards you, it's like a natural. Helios Circle on final for runway 28 for landing and passenger pickup. Helios Circle.
And I got you before with the small Air Zermatt helicopter.
Sorry?
When you landed before, I made a movie and I had your helicopter with the tiny one and
with the model.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful, right? It's the model of the Llama, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful A beautiful model.
You know that I told you in London that my father had 2 helicopters when he was younger?
Yeah, yeah.
And the last time he was with my Getty.
Uh-huh.
What's the name of Getty?
Or the Godfather or the Pate?
Yeah, the Godfather. And he has 2 helicopters as well. And he was really jealous, and my brother and myself, we will buy a helicopter for my dad for his birthday in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And probably I will go several times with him to learn a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's not easy to fly model helicopters.
No, but you told me that
but it's the same.
Here it's the same than here. So
It's
when
the
we
same
go the
controls.
next time, I know better what you're doing.
It's true. Yeah.
With throttle and everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's exactly what you do with the right hand is this, and what you do with the left hand is basically this plus that, right?
Yeah, you have the 4
axes. Yeah.
4 axes.
Now you see the windsock as well. You see there's no wind, right?
Yeah.
It's still, which means we can approach from both sides, right?
But it makes it a little bit harder for you. So you would prefer a little bit of wind?
Yes, I like a bit of wind, the right direction, because then I can choose, with a helicopter you can choose which direction you're coming from. So heartbeat goes in now we're on final. Oscar Golf on final runway 28 for passenger pickup.
How do you do it with the height? I mean, you must know which height is FISP and you have the information, or you do it by sight?
Depends. You know what altitude you should be at different positions, right? So now, let me just go for the landing. So now I'm going after. You see now how the performance goes up. Manifold pressure, right?
Yeah.
It goes up again as soon as we are hovering. But you see now, for hovering, the same that we did before. See now, we need a tiny bit less performance, right? Because we're lighter.
And this is what, 2 meters?
No, we're not that high above the ground. We're like a meter off the ground now.
Only?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, look down, right? I mean, the kids don't.
I can jump out.
Yeah, you could jump out easily from here. Oscar Golf runway vacated. Passenger pickup at Roro Airfield. So I'm just gonna put it down here. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's fine. See you later.
Thanks.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Someone for a drink?
Yes. I'll call you when I'm back in the afternoon. Okay.
Yeah, I will cook for Tiffany, and in the afternoon I have nothing to do. So.
Okay, maybe we can go for a drink, or maybe also tomorrow if we go fly. I'll let you know. But let's be in touch. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.